much, Rob, for being involved with this project today. The idea is that we're going to be giving a few interviews to help children make up their minds about various careers. So if you can get the ball rolling, really, and just give us your name and what your job is.
Hi there, I'm Rob Williams, and I'm a graduate mechanical engineer at Collins Aerospace in Plymouth.
Okay.
So really what that involves is I basically just spend my day doing 3D design, and I do model up lots of different components that we require for our engineering business. And I do lots of kind of stress testing and breaking things. And at the minute I'm working from home, but a big part of my job is just shaking things and breaking things and then going and computer modeling them once we've done all of the fun stuff.
Okay, so you go around the place just breaking things up, building it and then breaking it.
Yeah, building it, breaking it, building it again, and just making everything better.
Okay, that sounds like a great job, actually. Right, so how did you actually get into this job?
So I, out of A-levels, I did a year in industry. So I did, just went through the year in industry application process and got accepted for a job with Collins Aerospace. And then it was great. It was a year long. I didn't know anything, but they taught me everything that I needed to know for that year. And then they gave me a really great sponsorship deal. So whilst I was at uni, I then came back and worked in the summers, which was really fun. And then they've given me a job afterwards as well for 2 years. So that's great. And hopefully longer, which would be great.
Okay, likewise, yeah, keep that job going. So, so if you kind of cast your mind back to your school days, I mean, what subjects did you take while you were at school?
So I did 3 sciences and maths in my first year of A-level, and then I dropped biology. So I did chemistry, physics and maths in the second year of A-level. And that was just because I just loved science, just right from the outset. It's I've just always been questioning things my whole life. And what's really interesting is that actually I always liked making things as well. But really engineering has kind of reignited my creativity side. Whereas I really got into engineering for the science side of things. But I think a lot of people don't realize just how creative it can be as well.
Okay, right. That sounds fantastic, really. So what kind of training have you had since you've taken on the role that you've got now?
So I think the big bit of training, which I have to mention, is the fact that I went to university for 4 years. So I did an integrated master's in mechanical engineering with mechatronics at Southampton. Don't worry about the mechatronics. That's just effectively robots is a good way of describing it.
Okay.
So really that mechanical engineering is just the broadest of all the engineerings. It covers more or less how we make everything that we see around us, but not quite as fancy as airplanes, I would say. And then really from there, I just, whenever I came back to work in the summers with Collins Aerospace, the guys in my team just trained me up in whatever specific jobs that I needed to do for my role as well.
Okay. And so what kind of personal qualities do you have that's made you so successful at what you do?
I think the main thing that you need, and I like to think that I have, that you need in engineering is resilience, because especially doing the degree, you do an awful lot of failing, and you have to kind of pick yourself back up and just really persevere. And I think and I think that applies to everything, not just in engineering, but engineering especially. You get it wrong a lot, and just learning from your mistakes and not taking it too harshly and just taking it on the chin is just a really good quality to have, I think.
Okay. And so you've looked at all the kind of ups and downs in a career. Okay. You have your challenges, you have your rewards. Okay. So what would you say has been your biggest challenge as far as your career has been concerned?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. I think probably for me personally, it's a little bit of a specific one, but I found out I was dyspraxic in my second year of uni, which means that I write really slowly, which obviously makes it quite difficult for written exams. But what I found was that that actually meant that I kind of excelled in other things that were kind of more to do with the visual spatial things. I found I was much better at, rather than the written exam kind of things. So it was really great though. Once I found that out, then the university supported me and that kind of stuff. So that was all really great. But now that I'm in a job, it matters less that I write slower than everyone else. But I would definitely say, over the whole thing, that's probably been the biggest challenge, I think.
Okay, and so with challenges come rewards. So what would you say has been the biggest reward you've had?
I think just the knowledge that you learn from engineering. I was talking to my parents about this the other day. You end up in this place where you go, I really could make or do anything I want. It's you learn that the more knowledge that you gain from learning about engineering, and the more you realize that actually everything is within grasp. So yeah, in my final year of uni, I was just decided that I was going to build my own quadcopter, because I was thinking, I've done 3 years of uni. I should be able to do this by now, and it's something that I really want to do. And to anyone else, you think, oh, it sounds so beyond grasp. But actually, once you kind of learn those tools, and you learn that actually, as long as you kind of keep persevering at something, then you just learn from your mistakes and you learn how to do things. And then since I've built a 3D printer, and now I'm looking at other kind of projects where that's been the biggest reward for me, is just going, you can do anything you want. Like, really, all you have to do is put your mind to it.
So we're going to see you zooming across the sky in your homemade quadcopter sometime soon.
Hopefully so.
Okay, so imagine you're trying to give some wise words to somebody who's going to be following in your footsteps. I mean, what kind of advice would you give to a young person who wants to become an engineer like yourself?
I think just throw yourself into it, really. That's my first piece of advice, is just go head first into every opportunity you can. Like science, especially just STEM subjects, are just so interesting once you get into the meat of them. And then the other thing I'd say is surround yourself with other people who really want to work hard and are really passionate about what you're passionate about as well. I found my university experience was much easier just because I surrounded myself with other people who were passionate about engineering as well. And it just became fun. It was just one of those things where we all helped and supported each other. So I wasn't good at some things, but I was better at other things. And you just effectively form your own little team, I would say. And that applies through every aspect of life. Just get like-minded people and form a team.
So, okay, you've been doing this job now for a few years. Isn't it getting boring? I mean, what kind of gets you out of bed in the morning?
I think it's just the creative aspect for me. It's the fact that I'm designing something every day in 3D, but using the physics and the science principles that I learned at school and I learned through university. It just means that I just can't imagine doing anything else. It's just the 3D design, the creative aspect of it is just so enthralling that I just can't wait until someone gives me a little bit of work to go, we don't know how to do this thing. Can you just design something from scratch? You just go, oh, it's just my favorite part of the job.
I'm sitting here, I want to become an engineer just by listening to it. So, I mean, especially if I have the chance to make and break stuff at the same time. So all I'm going to say, Robbie, is thanks ever so much for being part of this. And hopefully we'll see you again sometime in the near future.
Yeah, thanks so much. Just any excuse to talk about myself for 20 minutes.
Thanks very much. Bye for now.